Hey there, I'm going to show you all the tools and things inside Book Creator that you can use with for you or for your students so that you can use this in your literacy program. First thing you'll want to do is to navigate over to bookcreator.com and then you can sign in. So it'll ask you to sign in as a student or teacher. Obviously, if you're a teacher, you're going to sign in as a teacher and student likewise. So I'm going to sign in as a teacher, sign in with my Google, choose my Google account, and then away we go. As you can see, I have no books here, so I'm going to click on New Book, and this is going to allow me to start making one. So you can see there's a couple of options here. Students really like this comic feature, but I'm just going to choose this normal 1x1 square. Once you get here, this is your front cover, and you're going to start customizing it. So when you go to this little plus button, it's adding an item. This little I is called the inspector, where you can do a little bit more customization depending on what you're doing. First thing I'm going to do is probably import well, if you wanted to, you can import a shape or a file, or if you want to make a really cool cover, you can make an image, anything like that. If you don't have an image or you don't want to go that route too, you can go straight to the inspector and you can see they give you some colors and some designs that you can use right away, and lots of different things that you can play with or add on to. So I'm just going to do a simple one here just for tutorial sake, and then you can see that there's my cover that I'm starting. Now what I want to do is probably add a title to my book. So I will then put in some text and I will name this book uh, My Creepy House. I'm going to go with Halloween theme, even though I know Halloween is finished. But anyway, there's a title that I can do. You can see that you can bold, italic, or underline, or even add a link in here. That means linking out this title. I'm not going to do that at the moment, so I'm just going to say done. Now you can see that it's very plain. It's not very interesting right now. So once I have this highlighted, I can go over to the inspector and you can see it says now text. It has different options here. So in this text, you can see that I can make it really big or really small. So I'm going to make that a little bit bigger like that. I can also put it in the middle so I can make sure that's all straight. I can change my font. You can see there's lots of different kinds of font that I want to, or that I can use. I'm just going to use, well, maybe Creepster is a good one for My Creepy House. That's a pretty good one. And then if I want to, I can also change the color of my font. So I can have a red background with a blue font, or green, or all these different colors. I'm trying to think, oh, yellow one looks good. I'm going to stick with yellow for now. You can change the background of your text box here. You can put in columns, you can even put in shadows. Shadows is kind of cool. It adds a little bit of texture for it, and you can obviously move it from back to front. If you have other images and other things on here, you can change the order of what that title is. Now, depending on the age of your students, you're gonna want different things that to happen. So now that that is finished, I can click this little arrow and it'll go to my next page. So now, if you are writing stories, and then obviously the students can put in text here, they can import text, or they can put in a shape, and they can put in some text bubbles or shapes and things like that. So they have a lot of options there that they can do. However, if you're choosing not to do a text story and maybe a picture story or an emoji story, you can also add and import things by using this media list. So you're able to import anything really that you have in your drives. So you can do it right from, if you're on a Windows machine, and you can use it your OneDrive, or if you're on a Chromebook, obviously you can use your Google Drive. So anything like that. So if I click my Google Drive, I have to match my drive. Oh, it already did it for me. So now if I had something in here, I could add it to it. Let's see if I can find something. So for example, here I found a Google Doc that I'm going to insert. So I just click that and I say select, and you can see it will ask me what it is, if I want to title it or anything like that. And then I will approve it by just saying add to book. Now you can see it gives me a little thumbnail here. I can make it bigger or smaller. Now this is linking out to that Google document. So if I actually click this, it's going to open up that document in full. So that is, it works the same with any of those things that you saw with slides, um, PowerPoint, PDFs, anything like that, anything on your drive, you can add any of that to that, and it'll look the same into a little thumbnail like that. When you click it out, you'll see the bigger picture of it. Another cool feature is if you wanted to, you can take a picture of yourself. Right now it's because I'm using my camera, so it won't let me take a picture, but you can take a picture and insert it on this page. You could also record some audio. Let's see if it'll let me do some audio here. Let's see, start recording. This is the story of my creepy house. Once you do it, you can see that you can play it back and listen to it if you wanted to.
This is the story of my creepy house.
And if you like it, you can say use recordings, and it's going to put a little thing right in here for you to move around. And then that way there's a little bit of audio. So this is a great way for students, if they didn't want to do the typing, they could actually tell their story and leave an audio right on this page. Another cool feature is if you go over to this inspector button, you can see that you can add transcripts, or make it invisible when reading or not, or again, change the order if you want to put it on top of a picture or things like that, or even behind a picture, but then you won't be able to access it that way. But transcripts are pretty cool too, because then, especially for those ELLs, they can see the words as they're listening to them. So not only recording audio, but you could record a video as well. So if I could use my camera here, and you can see up here, I can say record a video or take a picture, but obviously because I'm doing this and I'm using my camera already, it won't let me at the moment. But students could again record themselves through video if they wanted to, or taking pictures or telling a story through pictures as well. The last tool that I want to show you here is a pretty cool tool, is this pen. So it's a whiteboard feature. So if you wanted to, you can stylize things. I'll just use this as the default, and you can see I can actually start drawing on my page, and I can draw pictures or I can draw text. It's a little difficult with a mouse, but if you had a nice pen, or if you were on an iPad or something like that, then you could make some nice drawings or text using that whiteboard feature, and then it just embeds it right inside. As soon as you say done, it will load it there, and then again I can move that around and I can make it bigger or smaller. So that whiteboard tool is a pretty good tool for even young students or older students to draw pictures that go along with their story. Now, if you wanted to start a story for other students to be able to fill in the blanks, you can also invite them to make their own books, your own students. So you go back to here, you go back to my books. Now it is in my books here, but what I would have to do is I'd have to create a library. So if I say move to library, I do have a library right here. There's 3 books in there, so I could just click this and I'd say move to the library. Now it says you have no books in this library because I've moved it over from my books over to my library. So if you don't have a library, you can create a new library right there. Now, once it's in my library, you can see I have an invite code right here. So if I click this little invite code, I could send this to my students or share this with my students through Google Classroom or however you do it, even at a Teams meeting. Then when they go to sign in as a student, they'll enter this code, and the template of the book that you put there will be waiting for them, just so that they can start editing their own book. Now, 2 things to be aware of here is you can have editing purposes on your book, or you can instruct them to make their own copy. And once they've made their own copy, obviously any editing that they do on their own copy will be their own books. If they don't make a copy, then they're going to be editing the book that you share. So just to be aware of that. So that is the gist of having a book creator and using book creator with you, or creating it for yourself, or if you're using it for your students. Either way, that's the ins and outs of a book creator. It's a fantastic tool that both is engaging for the students and really easy to use. So good luck and have fun playing with it.